This is our topic for today, and we are going to complete the Union Legislature, the Speaker. Okay, so how have you all been doing? I hope you've been doing good and you have understood the entire topics of the Union Legislature, which I have been explaining to you. This is the last part of our module on the Union Legislature. I told you all that we'll be doing the presiding officers together. So after the Speaker, I'm going to continue with the Prime Minister, with the President and the Vice President. Though of course I will start with the Vice President first, okay, because they are the presiding officers. One is the presiding officer of the Lok Sabha and the other one is the presiding officer, ex officio chairman of the Rajya Sabha. So as usual, we'll begin with our notes. Okay, so this is the presiding officer of the Lok Sabha. We come to did you all get it? Okay, so it's a short topic, it's a small little topic, so let's finish it fatafat, right? Let's start. Okay, Lok Sabha, the presiding officer is called the Speaker, who is the Lok Sabha, and the present Speaker is Shri Om Birla. Okay, he is our present Speaker. I've been telling you all again and again that please look at the pictures of your textbook, because they can ask you a picture question. Okay, so the Speaker conducts the business of the House. He has wide powers to maintain the discipline of the House. He has no affiliation to any party, and he is answerable. He is the guardian of the privileges of the members, and he is answerable to only the House in matters concerning the discharge of his functions. So his function or his powers cannot be questioned by anybody else. He is answerable only to the House. That means only to the Lok Sabha. He ranks above all the cabinet ministers other than the Prime Minister. So he is almost on par with the Prime Minister, and no court of law can go into the merits of a ruling which has been given by him. If the Speaker decides a particular thing and if he gives a ruling, nobody can question it. Now, how is he elected? He is elected from among the newly elected House. So when the Lok Sabha, the new Lok Sabha meets for the first time, that is the time when all the members of the Lok Sabha, they will elect the Speaker. Even when the Lok Sabha is dissolved, he does not vacate his office. So when one Lok Sabha gets dissolved, so that another Lok Sabha can come in its place. So while the elections are being carried out and all that, the Speaker does not vacate his office, and he has to be there in the office till the new Speaker is elected. Only when the new Speaker comes in, only then will he vacate his office. He is elected for a term of 5 years. Please add the word "he" over there. I have forgotten to add it. He is elected for 5 years and can be re-elected a number of times if he is elected as a Lok Sabha member. So if he becomes a Lok Sabha member again and he is re-elected, he can also be re-elected as a Speaker. So our present Speaker, Om Birla, is a re-elected Speaker. He was also the Speaker of the previous Lok Sabha, and he is the Speaker now also. Removal, he may resign on health grounds or on grounds by giving a resignation letter to the Deputy Speaker. If a majority pass a resolution for his removal, however, the resolution cannot be moved unless 14 days notice has been given of the intention to remove him. So you cannot remove him unless you have proposed that we want to remove the Speaker, and for 14 days it's a common period in law. We always have a 14-day notice period. In any judiciary action, we will always have a 14-day notice period. Even if you want to give a notice to somebody, 14 days is the minimum amount that you give a notice period. So then only he can be removed by majority. I have given you at present the Speaker is Shri Om Birla. Now we come to the Deputy Speaker. How is a Deputy Speaker? The Deputy Speaker performs all the duties when a Speaker is absent, and his election and removal is the same as that of the Speaker. Now, what are the roles and functions of a Speaker in the business of the House? So first of all, in the House, what is he going to do? You all can read up your textbook later on, because I have put it down in note forms or in points as usual. Okay, so the first one is he presides over the House. He interprets the rules of procedure of the House. All the bills means the what is the procedure to be carried on will be decided by the speaker. I've told you all this earlier also, that even as far as a money bill and an ordinary bill goes, you have to first seek the permission of the speaker, and the speaker decides whether it is a money bill or whether it is an ordinary bill. Okay, so the speaker is a very important person. All the bills must be signed by him before they go for the president's assent. He decides the admissibility of the questions during the question hour. Okay, and the 0 hour. He puts the issues to vote and announces the result. He is the person who will announce the result. He does not vote unless there are equal votes on both the sides. So if for and against the resolution, if it is on par, if both have equal votes, only then his vote will count, and his vote will be the deciding vote whether a particular resolution is passed or it is not passed. Whatever, it is the speaker who will decide that. In case that both have got the for and against the resolution are equal, otherwise he doesn't vote. He decides whether a bill is a money bill or not. This I've explained to you earlier. Now, what are the disciplinary functions that a speaker carries on, performs, because he's in the role of the presiding officer of the Lok Sabha, so he definitely has a number of disciplinary functions. So we come to his disciplinary functions, which is on the next page. Okay, so you can come to that page. Now the first one, he maintains order. He can suspend a member or even adjourn the house. So supposing the house gets very unruly, like I don't know if you all have ever seen something online they show nowadays. So if you have seen it online, you could have seen that sometimes the house becomes very unruly and everybody goes to the well, they reach up to the speaker's table and all. So in those circumstances, it is the speaker who decides, and he will adjourn the house for that particular day. Okay. Similarly, if a particular member is not respectful towards the other members, or a particular member crosses the limits of respect, then he can remove that member from the house. Okay, so he can suspend a member for that particular day or for how many ever days he may decide. Okay, so he maintains the order, and order has to be maintained when you are performing such an important thing as being the presiding officer of the Lok Sabha in the union legislature, which is one of the most important parts of our democracy. So if you're in that position, then at that time you should be able to have the control of the entire house. Okay. So he can order the unruly or unparliamentary words which have been said by any member, turn the page, to be expunged from the house proceedings. Supposing a particular member is talking, and while talking or while giving his speech, if he uses words which are not up to mark, which are unruly, which are of a lower character in the sense that they are unruly words, then he can just pass an order, or he can tell the person who is recording the proceeding, because all the proceedings of the house are recorded. So the person who is recording the house, he can just tell them this will not go on record. Okay, so when he says that this will not go on record, then those unruly words will not go on record, so that the parliament doesn't present a horrible face in front of the people, because the people are watching. Okay. Now, whether a member stands disqualified under the anti-defection law. You remember we have done the anti-defection law. It will be the speaker's decision whether he has to be disqualified or from that, and no court will have any jurisdiction. So if the speaker decides that this person is disqualified under the anti-defection law, so he has decided. Now what is the anti-defection law? That the judiciary, it has been passed by the judiciary, and the judiciary knows what is anti-defection law. Okay, so once at anti-defection law, if a person goes against his party, then the speaker will decide that this person has gone against his party, and therefore I am disqualifying this member. Once he decides that, nobody can question his ruling. Okay, then we come to the parliamentary committees. What are the parliamentary committees? Now, whenever a parliamentary committee is formed for a particular thing, to think upon a particular resolution, like when I told you all in my earlier modules, we have seen that there are committees which are formed to see whether when a person is moving, if an ordinary member or a minister has moved a particular bill, so that bill has to still become a law, and it is in the stage of being discussed in the parliament. At that time, remember I had told you all that there are parliamentary committees formed. So when a committee is formed, there has to be a chairman. Without a chairman, you cannot have a committee. So that chairman is decided by the speaker, that this particular person will be the chairman. So he appoints the chairman for all the parliamentary committees. He issues directions for them to follow. He himself is the ex officio chairman in some of the committees. So in some places, just because he is a speaker, he becomes the ex officio chairman. Okay, very clear, very simple to understand. Now we come to the miscellaneous functions. What are his miscellaneous functions? He presides over the joint sessions. So whenever there is a disagreement between the Lok Sabha and the Rajya Sabha, and people are not able to so the disagreement is there, they are not able to decide upon something, then under those circumstances there will be a joint session. So like I've explained this to you all earlier also, that during that joint session it will be the speaker who presides, and because he's the speaker of the Lok Sabha, and the Lok Sabha has more members, and Lok Sabha people are directly elected by the people. Okay, so because he is a speaker, he presides over the joint sessions of all the of both the houses. Then in consultation with the Rajya Sabha chairman. Now who is the Rajya Sabha chairman? The Vice President of India. Okay, he is the ex officio Rajya Sabha chairman. So he will consult the Rajya Sabha chairman, and he will nominate personnel for parliamentary delegations to foreign countries. So if we decide that we want to send a delegation abroad, then it is a speaker and the vice president who will decide which people need to go abroad and represent our countries. Okay, so this much for the speaker, and it's very simple. Please learn it up. And with that, I come to an end of this module. Bye everyone, see you all in my next module. And with that, I have absolutely completed the Union Parliament, and all my modules are available on YouTube. Please go through them. And I have also completed the judiciary. All my modules are available on YouTube for the judiciary, and that leaves us with the 2 chapters of the Union Executive. So we have done the Union Legislature and we have done the judiciary. We have done these 2. Now what is left is the Union Executive, in which we have the President and the Vice President, and the Prime Minister and the Council of Ministers. So now I will bring up those modules. Till then I want you all to learn all this. In case you haven't been learning, though I'm sure you have been learning, because you're in ICSE and we are already mid-July. So when I'm putting up this module, it's almost mid-July, and we are very close to our prelims, if not the boards. The boards will be in 2027, but we are very close to our prelims. So wish you all the best and happy learning. Bye everyone.